90s Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we are celebrating Siyeon's birthday, and I don't know about you guys, but this birthday feels extra special, I think because she was gone for a while, so I'm still riding the euphoria of getting to see her and stuff again, but I am very excited to finally check out her Speechless cover. I actually know this song going into a cover, so yay for me, and I also think that this is a perfect song for her. It fits her voice so well. I know that she's gonna eat this, it's Siyeon, so that's a given anyway, but this song in particular, I feel like she is really going to own it, and I'm excited that we're gonna get to hear some of her lower range. We're gonna get to hear some beautiful runs. I'm so excited to get to hear her voice on this song because I think it's gonna fit it so well. So let's just get into the cover. All right, wow me. It's from quite a few years ago too, so she's still gonna be fantastic.
To wash me away, a tide that is taking me under, swallowing sand left with nothing to say, my voice drowns out in the thunder.
That vibrato.
But I won't cry, and I won't start to crumble whenever they try to shut me or cut me down.
Okay, I remember getting into the chorus and all that, but I love the dynamics that she's putting into it, not just like the vibrato there, but she's also doing a great job of softening her voice up at certain parts, and then other parts she's like building up this swell in her voice as well. Just, I, again, knew that going into this. I was like, given, she is going to absolutely dominate this. But it's great to see that I was correct. Especially like I was saying, this is from what, 5 years ago? So she's come a long way since then in terms of vocals. Somehow, she's somehow managed to become even more unreal in the way that she sings. But it's still great to see that she had such a wonderful foundation to her singing voice as well.
Crumble whenever they try to shut
Swell there. And we soften up.
You can't keep me quiet. Won't tremble when you try it. All I know is I won't go speechless. 'Cause I'll breathe when they try to suffocate me. Don't you underestimate me. 'Cause I know that I won't go speechless.
Ooh, beautiful. Okay, one, love how she's flipping between that falsetto and then more of a, I don't know, it's mixed, but it's definitely sitting on like the bottom end of her mixing in terms of like placement. It's probably weird to talk about if someone who doesn't sing, but then at the end there, you can hear the difference in the quality when she gets to the end of that last Speechless, where you can feel the way that she digs into her chest voice, the shift in the quality there of the sound. A lot less airy, even though she's got some great closure with that mix. It's definitely a much different tone when she digs into that chest voice. Wonderful. Also, her pronunciation, great. Just want to acknowledge that this song is all in English, and she's doing a great job with the pronunciation. So just give the props where it's due.
Don't you underestimate me, 'cause I know that I won't go speechless.
Gorgeous.
Written in stone, every rule, every word, centuries old and unbending.
This is what I was waiting for.
Stay in your place, better seen and not heard. But now that story's ending, 'cause I cannot start to crumble. So come on and try to shut me and cut me down.
Ooh, okay. I feel bad every time I interrupt because she sounds so good. But I was waiting for us to get to the second verse because it is in the lower part of our range. A little bit tricky for female voices in general, depends on where your voice sits. I know that Siyeon in general tends to sit a little bit higher in range than what this was going to have. So I was interested to hear that lower range. Again, this is from a few years ago. So I know that she's a great singer. I've heard the stuff, debut, Nightmare era stuff, obviously, but getting to that lower part of her range, I was wondering, I'm like, how solid is that going to be? Because I know she could do it now. I know if she had to sing this now that she would be able to do that no problem, but it's completely solid here, which is great. It's not like there's a ton of breath. She's not putting any vocal fry into it. So that tells me that she's not having difficulty connecting her vocal cords, right? Because when you go into a lower range, it's because you're loosening up your vocal cords. And with a higher voice, right, smaller vocal cords, at a certain point, it just becomes all air, or you have to put in vocal fry, which is using the false vocal folds that are right on top of your voice box to get that kind of growly sound to it. But you have to put those in because you can't tighten up your vocal cords properly enough to get a like connecting sound there. But hers is solid here, which is great to hear. Love getting to hear all those little vocal rounds that I was excited to hear her do as well. I had some, oh, she put the little growl in there too, just like a little bit of grit character into it, which is great, especially accenting that part of the song.
So come on and try to shut me and cut me down. I won't be silenced. You can't keep me quiet. Won't tremble when you try it. All I know is I won't go speechless, speechless. Let the storm.
A little belt there.
I cannot be broken. No, I won't leave unspoken. 'Cause I know that I won't go speechless. Try to lock me in this cage. I won't just lay me down and die. I will
Ooh, good,
take
she's
this broken
pulling back a bit here.
pieces and watch me burn across the sky. Hear the echo saying I won't be silenced.
Ooh, okay, again, I feel bad every time I interrupt her because she sounds so good. But I gotta say things, I won't remember all of it, okay? If you weren't here for pausing, you're in the wrong channel. But I love there when she's like pulling her headphone back so she can really hear herself. But you can hear in that she's letting that buildup happen because she's pulling back, right? I know that's part of the song and like the dynamics of the song as well. But also knowing Siyeon's voice pretty well at this point because I've been listening to the music for a while, I know that she's pulling back on that. She could go off on this bridge if she wanted to, and she's choosing not to because it makes that build up to the moment where she hits that note and we get into the key change that's happening there, that she wants that to be a highlighted moment, and if she doesn't build up properly to it, it's not going to have the same impact, right? So doing a great job there. Also, I just thinking, even with the song, knowing the song before, this song is pretty firmly in a comfortable spot of Siyeon's range, which is why I was like, the lower part is what I'm more interested in because it doesn't get anywhere near where her upper cap in her range is. I was interested in how she would shift some of the dynamics and how she would change the tone of her voice. So she's got a great belt on her. So I love that was part of what she put into it to heighten that energy, even though it's not going to be like some kind of super high note that she needs to like really push for. This is definitely well within something that she can hit. So being able to put in that more oomph, power to the way that she's hitting that note is how she's really accenting that part of it and making it into the focal point that she wants it to be, which is really nice to see. She pulled her chest voice up there a bit too. Ooh, good growl there too. Great little like reverb there at the end and the mixing too. Ma'am, are you conjuring a tear on demand? Because I will be definitely impressed with that. She said acting. Okay, great things there at the end. Also thinking there's a lot of movement in this song, right? There's a lot of lower into mixed into falsetto. There's a lot of jumping around even just within the chorus where it descends down into this very grounded sound for the storytelling of it. Tons of movement going on. I knew that she'd be able to do it, but it's still impressive every time that I get to see her just perform. She's so good. I love how she's putting in little dynamics in this as well. We have the growls. We have the going into more of this like belting tone like I was talking before, but there's also a couple of points there at the end where she's pulling pulling up her chest voice. So instead of going into that mixed zone like I was talking about at the beginning of the song, she's pulling up her chest. It's a little bit tricky to describe if you don't know what that sounds like, but it's got like a little bit more of a like yell sound. I don't like to say that because if you get into yelling from like a singing critique point, you don't want to sound like you're yelling, right? So that's why I'm hesitant to use that, but in layman's terms, it has a yell quality to the way that you place the sound. And it's great that she's putting in those little moments because it adds more energy. It adds to that build up in the energy whilst adding a different texture to the way that her voice sounds in it. Overall, fantastic. Just, I believe that if this came out, like when this came out, if I was listening to it then 5 years ago, I would be absolutely floored with the way that she sounds. Obviously, I've heard lots of stuff of her just being unhuman in the way that she sings and more recent stuff that it's still super impressive to hear this. It's still great to know that this is part of the reason that she's so great now, is that this is what she was like 5 years ago and she's been working on it ever since, right? She didn't stop here. But I can tell that like when this came out, I'm sure that a lot of people were like, I'm sorry, who is this? Because I would have been like, hang on, I need to know everything about this person because what do you mean she sounds like that? I just saw that as of right now, that video has 11 million views on it. So I think it's safe to say she's impressed people, but fantastic. Obviously, I knew that it was going to be, I never have I ever gotten a vocal from Siyeon and been like, I don't know. She continues to impress me, and every time a new release comes out, whether it's one of her covers or an actual like Dreamcatcher release, she's always fantastic in it. And I think that this shows off a lot of what she has in terms of dynamics. Like I was saying, I don't think that it really pushes a lot of her like upper part of her range. I think it definitely shows that she's got like a really solid lower part of her range, which is something that I think people forget a lot with female voices, because I feel like the like high intense belting note is always the like kind of showstopper one that people tend to point out as this person is a really good singer, a really good performer, but having a really solid lower range when you have a female voice is something that you really have to work at. So getting to see that is great. All the dynamics of her bringing in different tones to her voice and using different parts of her voice, moving around a lot in this song too, just shows that she was really good 5 years ago. And like I said, didn't choose to stop there. She definitely continued to work on her voice and continues to do things that just make me super impressed with what she's done. So I knew that she was going to eat this song, and she did. So happy to be able to check this out finally, and I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this playlist to go to my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to miss next time I post a Dreamcatcher reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.